Hi, I'm Sailor Neptune Michelle here, and today I'm going to talk about, homosexuality, whatever you want to call it, kind, loving pick, um, and Sailor Moon, how it was handled. Now, a lot of folks will say that today, they'll say now it's more folks are understanding of it and more all right with it, which is true. But it doesn't mean to say there still are not those out there that are still don't like it and are not all right with it. Now, anyway, in Sailor Moon, you had some selfhoods, if you go by Viz take, that were in that, like Malachite and, well, actually no, Kunsight and Zoisite. Or also, if you want to take Sailor Uranus, Amara, myself, Sailor Neptune, Michelle. Or if you also want to take Fisheye, and that was more of just that wasn't actually what it was, but okay. So, and a lot of folks out there said, well, wondered why did Deacon Cloverway have to shift things out? Well, during that time, folks thought that it was wrong to see that on the Farseer or to hear that on the live speaker. So folks thought it was wrong for that to be done in plays and films and Farseer shows if there were children that were watching it. So Deke and Pioneer didn't want to get, in a bind with any of these folks out there that would say, my son and daughter are watching a show and there's two folks there who have there's two men that love each other, there's two women that love each other. Well, Deke and Cloverway didn't want to get into that bind with them. So that's why they had to shift Zoisite into a woman. That's why we became near kin, and that's why Fisheye was shifted into a woman too. Now, a lot of folks are going to say those shifts, even though they were made, they weren't really good makes. Well, true, but they had to do something or they would have gotten in a bind with these folks back then. But now it's little not like how it is now. It's unlike how it was back then. Now more folks are all right with that. More folks have more understanding of it and they're more all right with it, and it's not a big deal anymore. But back then it was a big deal. A lot of folks will look back at that time and they'll say, how is it now how is it now that it was all right now? Back then it wasn't. I don't know. But once again, that was a thing. Now, a lot of folks are going to say, no big deal. A lot of other drawing films and live drawings shows were like that, at least if they were in Japan. Well, yeah, maybe Sailor Moon may have been the first. I take that back. Let me know if that was true, but I think Sailor Moon may have been the first one that did that. I could be wrong about that. But anyway, how it was handled. Now, if Deke and Cloverway were doing it now, no, they're not, but if they were doing it now, and it would be more all right. It'd be all right now. But back then, a lot of folks thought that was wrong. So that's why Deke had to do what they had to do. That's why Zoisite had to become a woman, or at least in boys. That's why me and Sailor Uranus, Amara, we became near kin, even though near kin would have still not been away, would still was not was what it was. Even though some folks have seeked wrong with that, saying that near kin doesn't really stop it, which is true. Us being near kin was probably the only thing they could do to keep someone getting in a bind over it. And why Fisheye, became a female, or at least in Boyce became at least became a woman in Boyce. We'll put it that way in speech. Now, a lot of folks out there will say that Deacon Cloverway should just said, who cares what anyone thinks and just do it. Well, you got to keep in mind, back then there were a lot of folks, there were a lot of, teams and folks out there that felt that that was bad for the farseer. That was bad for the live speaker. Those who overcleaned everything. And Deacon Cloverway didn't want to get in a hang up or a bind with those folks. Now today, it's a little unlike now. And now folks are going to say, why did Deacon Cloverway have to do it? Because Deacon Cloverway were making it for kids. And back then, if anyone, if there were two selfhoods, they happened to be women or be men, and they were in love with each other, folks felt that was wrong for kids to see that. Even though, I don't know why. They just thought it was wrong. So that's why it was done. Now with Viz, it's going for adults, and even these days, more folks have more understanding or more all right with it. So it's not as a big deal anymore. But back then it was. Back then it was like, oh, you can't show that to children or whatever. I don't know why. Don't ask me. So that's why Deke had to do the cleaning they had to do. And that's why Cloverway had to do the cleaning they were doing as well. So hopefully this tells you why Zoisite had to become a woman in speech, why me and Sailor Uranus became near kin, and why Fisheye became a woman in speech too. Now, before I end this, there were the Sailor Starlights. Two men, actually 3 men, I guess, who, when they shifted, they became women. And that even would have been more harder for Cloverway or whoever got it to clean that up. So, it is what it is. So, that's all I think. All right. I'm sailing Neptune tomorrow. My mistake. I'm sailing Neptune, Michelle, and I'll see you later.